Hello Birds of the Blue and welcome to my channel, and also welcome to another live stream. There will be a normal video coming tomorrow. It's about the findings that we did in the speed painting live stream. So it's not going to be a real painting video. I'm still working on that and it will be coming soon. Today's stream was going to be about the Groot, which I have here. I wanted to build them during the live stream. I actually want to make like a little mini diorama, pretty similar to what Tyler Mengel has done, which is amazing. I want to do like one of these doggos with one Groot in a little scene, like a kind of hunter type of thing. But you know what? I brought this from the workshop, which is what I get on my packages, and I forgot the instructions because I'm an idiot. So yeah, not fun, but I will do this on my own and paint it for the channel. Sorry. So, as we don't have the instructions here, I think we shall paint something a bit bigger. I have my Imperial Knight here, all the bits and pieces. I have the skeleton, which is basically done now. I did off camera, well, the arms are not done because I'm lazy, but I did a bit of a dry brush. You can see it around there. You can see a little dry brush with Vallejo modeler steel. This stuff over the dry oil wash, and here on the copper I mixed modeler silver with Hashut copper, and I did also a dry brush over the middle where like in the artwork. So that's what I did off camera, nothing too important. I still haven't drilled the barrels because yeah, I will, but yeah. Okay, so we're going to work a little bit on the I'm going to add a little bit of rusty, greasy looks here on this boy today, and I will also start working on the panels. What I want to do on the panels is work on the value modulation, and if you don't know what that means basically the lights and shadows. And I want to use oils for that, but I run into a little issue. That is, I only have Aptilung oils with a couple of exceptions, and I thought I had a good red, but this is too brick, this is too dark, and this is too pink. So none of these reds work, but I do have magenta and yellow, and they look like single pigment magenta and yellow. So I will mix them to make my own bright red and see how that works. Very excited to try that out, and I would use that and some darker colors around to create basically what I should have done with the airbrush, but I didn't because I am very bad with the airbrush. But I will try to do it with the oils on all the panels. The only issue with working with oils is the drying time, and all of this is going to be an extreme, like a multi-layered process, which will start with the value modulation. Then we will go into hue modulation. You will see probably in the next live stream because this is not going to dry in time. And then we will do all the panel lining and stuff like that. After the value modulation, I will paint all the freehands. So all of the other stuff sits on top of it and is going to create a very nice effect. I can't do all the value work with the freehand done because this is going to be a mess. So yeah. That's the idea for today's video. I will get all the armor stuff pieces like this. And this. I think this is... oh no. And this. Let me clean them up so they're not dusty. I think this is going to be fun, but we will see. We have some comments. Mr. Zero, putting up a cutter on this shed, that is. Eduardo Subtil. Hey man, just want to say, love your videos. Thank you very much. Big brother from Portugal. Obrigado. That's awesome. So, let's just open our glass palette. This is the red glass palette onto the inside the case of the old, very old red grass big wet palette. Now have the new one, which will be available for pre-order soon. So stay tuned. Before we do the red, let me just move this to the side. And I want to do some of the skeleton work. So all of that lovely extra weathering. So I have some colors here. This is my only 2 oils that are not from Abteilung. This is Winsor & Newton, the artist one, the good ones. I have raw sienna and burnt sienna. I'm going to use probably raw sienna. I'm going to use for the white. So I'm going to use here, but I'm going to use burnt sienna to add some greasy stains onto the pistons here. I'm probably going to use a mix of Abteilung light rust, maybe oxide patina, probably. Yeah, probably. This is, let me just, no, I think I like the light rust better. And I'm going also to use let's see if I can find it, but it should be here. Okay, engine grease, which is also a dark brown. And I will add some basically glazes with this over the recesses and stuff like that on the metal to add a bit more of personality. But we are going to start with the burnt sienna from this is again Winsor & Newton, the artist grade oil, so the best quality ones that we can find from Winsor & Newton. And let me just grab a nice synthetic brush with a nice tip. Oh, here, blah blah blah. Hey, I was the one asking about magnifying glass last week. Bought them, very happy with them. Happy to help. Always happy to help. So with this, I'm not going to dilute my oils for this. I'm just going to pick a little bit of this oil paint, which is amazingly creamy and good, and I'm going to apply it over the top part of the piston like this. I'm going to leave this brush here, and I'm going to pick up a clean brush. Let's see if I can find one that I like. I think I like this one. This is a Skoda number 2. This is a filbert. It's called this filbert brush. Not sure, but I'm going to basically no spirits here or anything. Just going to streak it down towards the base, just a little bit, so we add, you know, that extra greasiness on there. If you feel like it's too much, let me just grab a paper towel, and you can clean your brush and take out a bit more of the paint, just like that. Instant gradient. And this is basically all we're going to do on the body as well, but on the red panels and the white panels and stuff like that. But yeah, lovely oil. This, of course, this is the good stuff. Abteilung is okay. Oh crap! I just picked it up with this, so now this is dirty. Okay, let me just clean that brush very well. You have to have, if you're going to use the 2-brush technique, you kind of have to have a good discipline with your brushes, which I don't, obviously. I think that was obvious by now that I don't have any kind of discipline. There we go. Can you see that well? Let me just see if it's in focus or not. Oh, okay, there you go, much better. Sorry about that, guys. It's hard to judge. I use I use manual focus because it's just better. Creates quite fewer problems, but sometimes you have to readjust. So there you go. Not really caring about the front. A bit too much. There you go. The front here is not going. This is going to be hidden by the armor panels, but it's not a bad idea to have that. Let me just do something. I think I have a bit too much, so I'm going to grab yet another brush, small one. This one will do. Just grab a little bit of spirits and just clean a little bit of this mess here. It's a bit too much oil. There you go. Also creating some streaks on the process, which looks good. Going to the same here. There you go. There you go. Like that. Quite pleased with that. Cleaning my brush and keep on going through the other pistons. Hello, Juan says, Yael. Hello. Howard Howell, don't be a brush leaker with oil. Still haven't used them as adds to the logistics, so very interested in the stream. Oils are amazing. The problem is the drying time, and it just means that when you want to do something on top of other thing, you will have to wait for a day. Because we're doing super thin layers, as you saw, the oil wash I did over the body, that was about a day to dry. It was dry in less than 24 hours, so that's pretty acceptable. But you need to understand that that's going to happen, and because if you don't, you're going to be very miserable. Awkward angle there. As you can see, I'm not bothering with these pistons here because it's going to be completely hidden by the armor panels. I almost got baited the game by the title. Dude, there is a massive Imperial Knight shadow on the thumbnail. What did you expect? Okay, I think I'm done with this. I'm going to clean my brush here. So, in perspective, if I were to start an oil collection now, like a brand new oil collection, I'm not sure if I would go with all Abteilung, because I have the whole of the Abteilung range except for the metallics. I'm not sure if I would do the same now. Not sure. Maybe. Just clean this up a bit too much. But I would for sure want some more of this Winsor & Newton or high artist grade paints. The problem with this is they are much more expensive. Also, they are bigger, so you'll have a massive amount of paint that you're probably never ever going to use. And they are, again, very, very expensive. Especially some colors. I think that's why Abteilung doesn't have a good red. It's because red pigments are more expensive. Even the naphthol ones are more expensive than the rest. So I think that is why they don't have like a good vibrant red, because they are very expensive. So yeah, you need this is like buying oils in an artist shop. It's like going into the market to buy fish or meat, something like that. Not everything has the same price, and you need to understand that. So you can buy these siennas are very cheap, on the cheap scale for oil paints. It's a cheap pigment, but you can spend a lot of money. If you think GW paints are expensive, wait till you try to buy some oils of some exotic oil paints. Yeah, they're very, I think a tube like this size is 37 millimeters of cadmium red is about 60 euros or something like that. Like, it's crazy expensive. Oh, it will last you for a lifetime. I mean, it's a one-time purchase thing, but it's still super expensive. So I'm very happy with the pistons. I think they look awesome. No attack by the... I was baited, but now I've settled down and have my paints out, so happy days. Yeah, I love when people paint while I paint. This is the greatest feeling ever. I think I'm going to get this light rust onto the palette. Just blow a little bit of dust. Yeah, this is lovely light brown. I'm going to thin this down with normal white spirits. Sort of a wash, very thin. I'm using Sansodor. I learned my lesson from the previous one because I was literally, when I finished the stream, it was painful. So I'm going to add some of this here and there. There you go. So I will apply that much, and I will blend it, essentially, as we did with the other stuff. Just adding a little bit more of interest into this. I want to take a larger brush so I can smooth things faster. Yeah, there you go. Much easier with that. I'm not going to apply this everywhere, but I'm going to apply quite a bit. Probably off camera, otherwise this will be quite boring. But you can see the process that I'm going to do here. Oh, we have more people commenting. Play Painted. Hello, Play Painted. I finally catching you live. Keep up the good work. I'm literally planning Chaos Night, painting a Chaos Night right now. Awesome. Howard Hotwheel. Will you do a burnt effect on the meltas or copper plate pipes on the back? Would you recommend doing that? Yes, I'm going to do one. Why don't we do the burnt effect on the shafts here on the back? For that, I'm going to use smoke. Quite literally, there is a paint called smoke, and it's basically perfect for that kind of stuff. It's a super dark brown, and again, I'm going to get my spirits brush. I'm going to thin this down a little bit so it's not. Okay, let me just clean this thoroughly. Let's have a little bit of the light oxide here, but it's not that big of a deal. And we're going to, you have to apply this over the areas. I'm going to do these pipes here. I hope you can see them well. Not really easy to focus. I'll hold this thing. It's massive thing. You can do this with pigments as well, and it's going to look awesome. But I have this paint, so whatever. So just apply it around the shafts. Inside as well, so it's nice and dark. In case we had some metallics in there. I'm just getting my brush. I'm going to take as much paint out of this dry brush as possible and just blend it. It honestly just feels like cheating if I'm honest. So just moving the brush and feathering that oil paint out into the rest of the shaft here. When you feel the brush is a bit dirty, you just clean it on your paper towel and keep on going. You can see, just see if you can see that well. I need to refocus that. Just see if I have to. There you go. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's it. It's essentially that, and you have such an open working time that it's just super easy. Oils for this kind of army is just the way to go. At least for this sort of details. If you're painting several of these at the same time, you will go through them super quickly. Just add a little bit more of the smoke. Sometimes it can happen that you take away too much. If you do super thin layers of this, you will probably have, you will for sure have this dry in 24 hours. Oops, sorry about that. You missed that completely. There you go. Hope you, let me just see if I can zoom in so you can see that effect. There you go. There you go. So that took me nothing at all. So I'm going to do that on all the exhaust and on the meltas. Yeah, super easy. And I did a little bit of brown like rusting here. Let me just adjust the focus to my painting distance again. That should do it. And pull back a little bit so you can see actually what I'm doing here. There you go. Okay, let's move on. That's what I'm going to do on the body. I'm going to do that off camera because it just feels unnecessary to do that now. Imagine someone sends you the instructions to the model he still needs to build it. That is a fun thing that I will talk about probably in the next video, but I can't talk about that now for a lot of reasons. So let's move into the body, into the main event, which will be modulating the values on the armor. Let me just clean that so it doesn't have any dust or any crap in it. Okay, this is all airbrush. I have some red that it's some white got onto the red, so I'm going to clean that up with my piston red. Let me just use a normal dry palette for that. That should be more than enough. And now I need to find my acrylics brushes and use water and not and not yeah, not the other stuff. Okay, so let me just grab this, neaten up this. My piston red is pretty amazing red, so one layer should be enough to cover this very little white. Go. Yeah, that should be it. let's do the other leg, so I can basically do the rest all at the same time. I hope I'm not triggering anyone by painting on the sprue, but these minis were designed, if I'm not mistaken, to be done like this, and then just snipped off and clean off that, you know. I think that is the case. I might be wrong, obviously. I'm basically wrong all the time. So I think I'm going to start with the white, just because I think it's going to be easier. I dare you to spill some red onto the white. Yeah, no thank you. I'm going to use raw sienna for the white. This is a lovely ochre color. It's going to be beautiful shading the raw sienna. This small gradient I have here. Let me just put away, for good measure, my good acrylic brush, so I don't use it accidentally. Oh, also, I have this, which is Acrylic Matte Effect Thinner. It's just basically odorless thinner with, I think it's just talcum powder dissolved in it. You have to shake it before you use it. I'm going to put a little bit of this onto one of these wells. There you go. Now that it's mixed, so I can just grab a little bit of this to thin down my paint, so it hopefully, I've never used it, but hopefully will have a matte finish when we're done. Hopefully. Okay, let's add this onto the downside here. Oh, this is maybe a bit too, maybe a little bit too much thinner, but a little bit too thin, but we will see. So I'm going to clean the brush. And we will have to let that dry for a little bit, I think. Just so the thingamabob there, let me just try. Maybe we can get away with blending it now. Oh yeah, so easy. Just dabbing a bit, clean the brush. This is one of the brushes that Acrylic sells for oils. This is a filbert, as it's called. This is synthetic, but works very well. I just want to basically do the initial weathering. You can see there. The initial blending with this. I'm going to add a little bit more of this raw sienna and spread it out onto the sides here. I'll just do something with the same brush. I'm just going to grab a little bit of this. This is the top part, so I don't want too much, but just a little bit, just to create a little bit extra shading. Around the edge there. Let's come a little bit unwieldy, so I'm going to use my smooshing brush from Rosemary just to have the softest possible blend there. What paint brand that you're using? This is Winsor & Newton Raw Sienna, the artist grade one. I'm going to use Acrylic for the reds, but I only have, the only Winsor & Newton paints that I have are Raw Sienna and Burnt Sienna, so that's why I'm going to use them. I'm pretty happy with the blend. I hope you can see it well, but it's pretty soft and nice. Let me just grab a little bit thinner. I want to clean a couple of spots, so I'm going to make sure my brush is extremely clean. We don't have any of the smoke. And I'm just going to go with this and just clean the spots where I feel like it added a bit too much. I'm also going to use this to shade all these rivets. Just grab a little bit more of this matte effect thinner. Yep. There we go. And also going to try and shade the vents here. I will probably add something darker later on, but for now I think it looks pretty good. Just some extra shading onto the rim around the metal trim there. Yeah, pretty happy. I think that looks awesome if you ask me. I'm going to use the nice, this is, I think this is still synthetic, but it's very nice. I'm going to dab, is this dirty with something? Maybe. Let me just clean it with the... yeah, that wasn't nice. I'm going to paint this super thin veil there. I think this is dirty with something darker. I don't like that, so let me just grab something clean. Okay, this is a old Raphael. It's past its prime in terms of acrylic painting, but for this application, so it's a very soft smooshing there. Oh, this is also dirty? Come on. Yep. Pretty dirty. I don't like that. Clean that up. This is the main advantage. I just can clean whatever I want whenever I want with no issues whatsoever. That's the best thing about oil paints. Okay, this is pretty clean now. I want to add a little bit more of this. Let me just see if I can clean this brush and dry it enough so I can blend something without... Let me just clean the small filbert. And I will also clean this. When working with something so lightly colored as this, you kind of have to make sure your brushes are very spotlessly clean, which I didn't because I'm not very clever. Okay, let me grab here. Are you clean? This looks clean. This is another old Raphael. So yeah, this is now cleaner. I'm going to basically smoosh that out and create a bit more of a gradient. Dr. Milan, I just came in and that scheme is going to look baller. That's what I hope for. That's what I hope for. It looks baller. Problem is, it's so dusty in here. I just hate fucking dust. I don't mind if I get some spots of this or some streakiness, because that's always going to be part of this scheme. Yeah, I'm really liking that white. That was an easy white. I'm probably going to add a bit more shading on this later on, towards the lower bits. Just clean. Maybe too much paint down there. Remember, the less paint you have, the quicker it's going to dry. Also, if you thin it down with thinner, It's obviously absolutely going to dry quicker or cure quicker. Just maybe add a teeny tiny bit more of the rosy just on the edge. There you go. Yeah, pretty happy with that. I hated painting with my acrylic paints during the summer heat, especially the washes were awful to work with. Are oil paints more resilient to high temperatures and easier to work with the summer? Yeah, you just have to understand that they will take a bit to dry, and a bit I mean a day if you apply them very, very thinly, up to a week if you apply them very, very thick. So as long as you understand that, they are amazing to work with, because heat will affect them a little bit, but it's not like acrylics. Like at all like acrylics. It's a completely different world. I'm not the biggest expert. If you want to know more about oil painting, I highly recommend you go and check out the Instagram of Omegon Edge. He is a true master of oil paint. Is this dry? More or less. Okay, just streak that down a little bit so I can create some streakiness now and start adding some weathering in the process. As long as you understand that this takes a while to dry, as I said, you are going to be good. But you need to have that in mind. This is not a quick. It's quick to do the actual painting, but it's not quick to have it ready for the next layer. So, yeah. I don't like that. I want to clean that up a little bit. Okay. I kind of messed that up a little bit, but it's easy to fix. Just add a bit more of the raw sienna and smoosh it out with a dry brush. So we get that looking like we want it. You basically have an infinite amount of working time, open working time. So just be chill. That's my recommendation with oil paints. Just be chill, because you're not in a rush. We got some streakiness, we got some weathering, we got some light and shadow modulation. What I'm going to do now is try to do an edge highlight, but instead of doing an edge highlight, I'm going to clean my brush and see if I can just clean the oil paints from the edges here on the white details. And yeah, it's working fine. It's working fine. There you go. Quick edge highlight using oil paints. Oh, I need to add a bit more. Yes. I will add a bit even darker weathering onto the bottom. I might add some more streakiness. Just exaggerate this, and I'm going to blend it now. There you go. And this now, more precision basically. It's a very soft brush. just clean this other brush again with the spirits and clean the parts that I'm not happy with. So basically reduce the amount of this paint that we have here. And reshapen the streaks so they look a bit more realistic. Do oil paints work similarly to heavy body acrylics? Yes, but they don't dry, or they think them. Heavy body acrylics were invented to simulate oil paints, but with a shorter drying time and not and be water based. So heavy body acrylics were an invention created to imitate oils. So yes, they do behave similar because they were designed to behave similarly, but they dry much faster, the heavy body acrylics, obviously because they are acrylics. There you go. Pretty happy with what looks awesome for what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I think it looks pretty good. Look at that. It's going to be amazing, I think, if you ask me. Let me blend this a little bit more here on the bottom, and I can definitely see the matte effect thinner working, so I'm pretty happy about that. Howard Hobby looks awesome. I learn so much watching these streams and just chilling. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I just want to do a very chilled kind of thing, so no pressure. Can heavy body acrylics reactivate in the same way at oil cans? No, they cannot. Once they are dry, they're dry. They were designed to behave like, oh yeah, this is definitely matte. I like this matte effect thinner. It works really well. Yeah, once you apply them, they were designed to behave like oils on a canvas, where you apply them thick, so they take a very long time to dry. But once they're dry, they are dry, they are acrylics, they're not going to reactivate. Oils will reactivate until they are fully cured, which is probably going to take quite a long time on a canvas. On a mini, once they are dry, you can basically call it done, and it's going to be enough, especially if you apply like a matte varnish over them. Then you can do more oils on top, and it's going to be okay. Oh, hello Bridge 2. Yeah, my family and I are doing well. Maybe if you ask my wife, she will not be that happier, given the fact that she is the one that's coming to do all the work. For us males, just say that, even if it's a bit cringy, raising kids, it's just easier. Especially when they are newborns, it's just not the same. So, as I said, I want to add some highlights into the red, but I don't have a good red. I will buy one probably very soon, just so I have one. But you can make red mixing magenta and yellow, especially in their single pigment, which I think these are. This looks like single pigment. Let's see. I want a clean brush for this. I don't want this. This is going to be fine. A little bit of magenta, a little bit of yellow. We got like kind of an orange. More magenta, more red. I want like a light red color, so more magenta, a bit more magenta. Let's mix this well. And see, oh, this is a bit dark, so probably want a bit more. It's not going to be a super bright red, so that's probably where my mistakes started. Not being careful enough to know that I don't have a... Is that... That's still a bit dark. So maybe I will mix a little bit of a sunny flesh tone onto that, so I can lighten up that a little bit more. There you go. Just a touch of this. This is going to be super opaque. A little bit more yellow. Yeah, probably happy with that. I think that's as good as I'm going to get it. So I mixed. It's quite bright, but we're going to blend that to hell and back, basically. So we're going to leave such a thin layer that is not going to be there. Oh, Mertensify, best wishes for your little one. Always makes me happy to see good people having offspring. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. He's doing fine. He's just a newborn with all the newborn things. You know, newborns are just newborns. Okay, so I'm going to get some of this matte effect thinner. So this is kind of a wild rider red, the kind of color. I wanted like a pure red, but I just can't make a pure red. I have it this thin down so it's not too streaky, and I'm going to apply this to the areas that I want highlights. So that's going to be there, and probably around there. There you go. Clean the brush. We don't want that on the brush anymore. I'm done with it. Just making sure there's no more paint in the brush for future things. That seems to be okay. And let's see if we can blend this and create a bit of this modulation that we're looking for. Unload the brush. Blend a bit more, unload the brush. Smear and blend a bit more. I'm not 100% happy with that. It just doesn't work very well. Yeah, I think I essentially need a pure red to highlight this, and I don't have it. Let me see if I can make it work with the warm red. Okay. So this is warm red. Let's see how that works. Then maybe we will see. It's just, you see, it's just too brick red. I don't know if that's going to work. Let me just grab a teeny tiny bit of this. Probably. So subtle. I do need like a pure red here if I want to highlight this the way I want to highlight this, but for time being I think there's going to be enough to hide this mess that I don't like. Okay. Let's mix a little bit of this thinner. Yeah, next purchase, a pure red. Probably, because I'm not rich, it's going to be a naphthol red. So I don't think I can afford a cadmium red. It's too expensive. I don't think I can justify that expense, really. Remember, that is about 50 to 60 euros for a tube. That is pretty pricey. Just grab this. This is new, so this should be clean. Yep. Again, this is another filbert brush. Filbert brushes are amazing to blend oils. Okay, not perfect. Maybe just didn't do anything there. Probably not too much. Maybe very subtle. But I'm just going to shade the crap out of this as hard as I can. I'm going to try to mix a kind of a purple color. Maybe use shadow brown. Let's see what shadow brown looks like when it's thinned down. Maybe not. I'm experimenting here. I don't know what I'm doing, so have that in mind. Midnight blue. I'm just going to put a little bit of midnight blue there as well. Oh, so oily. So oily. There you go. Yeah, 60 euros. Yeah, cadmium is very expensive. Also extremely toxic, but you're not going to put this into your mouth, oil paints. So you probably don't have to worry too much about that. Maybe mix it with some bit of magenta. Maybe a little bit of this warm red. No, this is too orange. Magenta and midnight blue. Maybe. What is this? I think this was smoke. Probably. To darken it down. Yeah, I kind of like that. Like an off desaturated purpley color. Going to thin this down with my matte effect thinner. There you go. Going to clean the brush. Magenta plus yellow. I tried it. It's not intense enough. The problem is I have a base of Mephiston red, and Mephiston red is so intense red that it's just the magenta plus yellow doesn't look good. I need a pure pigment yellow, pure pigment red, something that it's just pure red, nothing else. Sadly, I wish I could use it, but I can't. So I have this like very faint purpley color. Oh, this is going to be intense. I'm going to thin that down a little bit more because this is going to be intense. Okay. And I'm going to be very subtle here. Because I don't know how much this is going to stand out once I start blending this. But yeah, magenta and yellow will be pure red, but it's not single pigment, so it's not as intense, and you need like very vibrant red. I will probably buy a naphthol red. Probably. I think those look good, and I think there's going to be enough for my needs. Let me just try this. If you go back, Coach, if you go back to the little bit on the stream, it's just magenta and yellow either makes a bit of an orangey and then moves into the same color here, so it's not really highlighting anything. That's my main issue with that paint. I'm just going to start blending this, cleaning the brush, blending it again, etc., etc., etc. Trying to get onto all the nooks and crannies here. Also, I suspect, maybe, that this magenta is not pure single pigment, so it's not creating the brightest red possible. Maybe? Could be? Okay, you can see the transformation of the red. I think it looks good. I like it. It's a very vibrant color to shade with. If you want this a bit more muted, you can go into the browns. But I kind of like this. I think it looks cool. Let me just add a little bit more of this, so I can basically recess shade. I have to be very careful here around the white. Around that area, what I will do is clean the brush and use the brush soaked in spirits to clean everything. Not just blend it, but literally just remove the paint. Okay, I don't want that much oil there. Also removing some of this from the parts that I believe it is too much. Like there. I will blend it now. I'm going to add this again to the vents. And around these rivets here. So, a bit more blending time. So this is the work with oils essentially. It's just going back and forth, blending and blending and blending. But it's a very cool way to work. I like it a lot. It's extremely laid back, like super relaxing. You just have to worry about your blends. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about your blends. You just have to worry about the final result, like the overall result. The blends just happen naturally. Okay, I think this is looking just fine. I'm going to pick some more of this warm red, as they call it. Which I think now is going to be more of a highlight color. Yeah. And I'm going to blend it. Okay, honestly, very happy with that. I'm not going to lie, I'm very pleased with how that looks. Exactly what I wanted. I wanted a very dark red. I would like the highlights on the red to be like more pure red, but I'm happy with the shadows and happy with all the rest. And yeah, look at that. It's not fully dry, but doesn't have any more thinner in it, and it looks matte. So I'm really happy with the matte effect thinner, which is just 100% sure that it's just how is this? Odorless thinner plus talcum powder. You can probably make that at home. I cleaned my brush, and you're going to reinforce those edge highlights now that the thinner is gone and this is more stable, a little bit more stable. There you go. Play paint. When painting with oils, do you still prime in acrylics? Yes, this is all acrylics. This is prime with Wraithbone. I did a like kind of a zenithal with pure white with the airbrush. This is Mephiston red with the airbrush. It's just that. It gives you can work straight. You will still need to prime the mini, and primer is primer. But using a solid color underneath helps quite a lot to get a good result. There you go. Super, super, super happy with that. Not going to lie to you, I'm really pleased. I'm also going to clean this and try to do the same highlight onto the red bends. Oh yeah. I really hope you don't expect me to be quick, because I'm not. I'm not Marco Frisoni or anything like that that paint this whole thing in like 5 minutes or something preposterous like that. Okay, really happy. Yeah, really pleased. I'm going to take some of the smoke here, just because I need super dark color, and I'm going to try to do some streaking with this. Brush. I'm going to take this, which I think is pretty clean, has a little bit of red in it. I don't mind that. And just try to blend these streaks onto the rest of the paint job. They were a bit too strong, so I'm blending them so they are subtle, but there. And I think I'm going to reapply some of this warm orange. Some bits. There you go. I like that. I'm happy with that. More than happy with that. Let me just try to edge highlight this vents using the warm red, which now looks better. With all the shading, this looks better. So I'm going to try apply like you would do with acrylics, an edge highlight with the warm red, and it worked like a treat. So happy with oils. Look at that. Look at that. So pleased with that. I think I'm going to add a bit more shading towards the bottom of the white. What color I'm going to use, I still don't know. Let me just see. I think it was engine grease, probably. Can that work? I think that can work. Oh, let me just grab some of these thinner. The matte effect thinner. I'm going to do like a super thin, like richer shade here across this edge. Oh yeah, I like that. I do like that quite a lot. Just that extra touch. I think it gives a sense of scale. Oh, that has a bit of red. Clean, clean, clean for the future. Let me just grab something that I haven't used yet. Do you have any colors in you? I don't think you do. I think I need to add a bit more of this. Clean, maybe. That's the problem with the white. The only issue with the white is I find that your brushes need to be spotless. So doing the white, all the white first and then moving on would have been a clever idea. But I'm not clever, I'm an idiot, so it doesn't really help too much. Let me see what I have here. I do have a lot of brushes, and some of them will be clean. Yeah, pleased with how that looks. Pleased with how that looks. Quite a bit. Okay, let me see if I can do a highlight with white. I do have white. I need to grab it. Just wait a second. This is called the Snow White. It's just white. Just put a bit of this white there. I don't know if it's been asked, but what is the plan for removing the pieces from the sprue? I'm just, the thing is, I'm not going to paint any of the trim. I'm just going to paint like the panels. So I'm just going to snip it, cut them with the scalpel, and maybe with a file, maybe with a little bit of sandpaper to smooth that out, and I will just apply a bit of paint there, and no one's going to know. That's the plan, at least. Let's see if that works well. But yeah, the plan is not really caring about the sprue. Because all the trim will be painted later on. I'm just going to paint like the colored panels on the armor. Now, so again, a little bit of this thinner, which I really liked, the effect that it gave. So I now have pure white here, and I'm just going to try and apply an edge highlight. Quite thick, because you can do thick here. There you go. I think that looks good. Super happy. Yeah, this, if I'm not mistaken, these knights were designed so you could paint the armors on the armor panels on the sprue, and they just have a minimal working to have them done. I think that's the case, but I might be mistaken. So let's keep on moving. I have this here, a little bit more thin. This is the mix that I did with Midnight Blue. I used some of the magenta, and I used some of the, I think it was the smoke, just to make it darker. And I'm going to shade this red panel here and this red panel here, just because, well, why not? On this, I'm just going to apply it here towards the lower sections, as well as, you know, like a racist shade all over. This is pretty thin. Okay, so like that. And I'm going to do the same on this one. So I think this is the direction this is going to be sitting, yeah, on the model. And again, same here. I'm going to apply a bit more towards the bottom, just like that. Very careful, because this is super intense. A bit more of the matte effect. So, talking about other stuff while I paint, just so it's not so boring, we watched yesterday the new Lord of the Rings, the new Tolkien show on Amazon Prime. You know what? We liked it, and you can fight me if you don't agree with me, but we liked it quite a lot, actually. We're really excited to see the next entries. The next episodes, actually. We were pretty happy. We had a fantastic time watching it. Yeah, the Rings of Power, that's its name. It's really, I like it. Of course, not everything there is canon, obviously, but also that period of time in the Tolkien Imaginarium, so to speak, is not really filled in. It's just very vague, so who really cares that much? It's good. It's a good show. I liked it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. You just listen to so much hate online. It's just the internet is just filled with hate for everything. Everything is seems like you have to hate everything. You know what? If you enjoy something, who cares? Just enjoy what you enjoy and be happy. That's all I will say about that. But it was a good show. I really liked it. Even my wife, which is not a nerd in that sense, at least not a Tolkien nerd in any way, I am, she liked it. She thought it was awesome. So any show that I can watch with my wife is something extra. So for me that has added value, just because I really enjoy spending time with her. So if we can spend time together watching a show, that's fantastic. It's filled, but it's not really. It's just in the appendixes. It's not like fully detailed story. So you can fill the blanks however you want. There's a lot of blanks there. But yeah, I really liked it. It was good. Of course, things like the death of Finrod was most of is not how it happened and stuff like that. You know, who really cares that much about that stuff? I get that they wanted to have a hero, so using a character that it's known to most people outside the Tolkien hardcore fans made sense. So using Galadriel made sense. It just made sense. You may not like it, but it just made sense. It made sense for the story. It made sense to attract more viewers. You know, like if you watch the pitch meeting YouTube channel, you know that's the character for the other show. You have that kind of moment, but it works. It works. So I don't have anything bad to say about it. It just works. It makes sense that people want to see a character that they know, and not just cater to the ultra hardcore Tolkien fans that have read the Silmarillion and all that stuff. I read the Silmarillion, by the way, just don't get me wrong, I've read it a lot of times. It's one of my favorite books. I may have read the Silmarillion like 50 to 20 times. It's in that ballpark of but yeah, I like it. I really want to see a show about the Silmarillion. It's the perfect subject for a TV show, but that would have to be so expensive. So yeah, really happy with the show. Oh, the dwarves were especially good. Especially good. Really nice. I really like to see liked to see Moria like in its splendor. So that was awesome. The orcs look brilliant. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Catha-Dûm. Yeah, Catha-Dûm was awesome. It was one of the best parts of the show. So good, because we only got to see it in the Lord of the Rings, obviously, and it was like fucked up essentially. So getting to see it like in the highest in its peak, that was awesome. I'm cleaning with spirits just to get some cleaner red here on the top. There you go. Okay. I think that looks cool. So this brush has a little bit of spirits in it, so I'm taking away more than with just a how would you call it? My brain just farted. A blending brush. So because I wanted to take a bit more. I'm going to put some fresh matte effect there for the red. So we really liked it, but I hope we get a surprise talking about the Rings of Power. I really hope they gave us a bit of a surprise with the stranger, with the guy inside the meteorite, and it's not just Gandalf, because that would be so obvious. It's just like I really want them to surprise me. I don't think they will. I think it's just going to be Gandalf, but I really want them to surprise me. But I think it's just going to be Gandalf. Because showrunners and scriptwriters just lack imagination overall. So, for the most part, I'm not one of those. I don't want to come as a kind of a radical or anything, but for the most part, it's just lack imagination. So I think it's just going to be Gandalf. Possibly one of the blue wizards. Yeah, could be one of the blue wizards. Honestly, it could be any of the wizards. It could be any of them, because technically they all came around this era to Middle Earth, so it could be any of the wizards. So doing one of the blue wizards would be cool, just because we haven't seen them in anywhere. Doing Gandalf would be the obvious, because he just landed in the proto-Hobbit land, so that's kind of obvious. It would make sense, but it also would be so obvious. But yeah, the Final Fantasy screams Gandalf. Yeah, it's just going to be Gandalf. But it would be cool if for once a showrunner would surprise me with something that was really shocking. Well, not for once, but it's a rare occurrence. It's just. So, adding the highlights onto the red there. Super happy. That was fun. I'm going to clean this. I'm going to grab some thicker red now. Still with the clean matte effect, but just a little bit thicker, so we can do some edge highlights. I'm just going to apply it here. Hope you can see well. I'm trying to keep this in focus, but it's really hard. Speaking of rings, how is your main business picking up? Hope it's going well after the past couple of years. It's just going. It's not going badly, and I won't have to close my doors, as many UK people are going to have to do. I'm honestly appalled by what I see on social media about the UK right now. So if any of you have a business in the UK, my condolences. Honestly, it's going to be fucked up for you for the remainder, for I don't know how much. I hope not that much, but it's not going to be nice. So really I hope I could do something for you, because it's not going to be nice at all. Okay, so I applied the edge highlights down there. I think it looks pretty good. Super happy. I'm going to clean this brush very well. I'm probably going to try and blend that. You grab a super small brush. You have a super small brush here. I have a super small brush here. So I'm going to try to blend these edge highlights towards the bottom. There you go. So nice. Diego Isla. Oh, an opportunity to use my super special emojis. We have one of the coolest persons in the planet in the chat, Diego Isla, which is a channel member. Thank you, Diego Isla, for joining. I really appreciate it. Josh, hi Juan, just want to say that your tutorials and conscious heavy metal videos are always some of the coolest videos I have seen for painting. Your power short tutorials are the best on the site. Thank you very much. I really, that really means a lot to me. I know I'm not the most consistent with my content. I know that I could for sure put out more. But honestly, I'm just basically doing the work that I like. So if I feel like doing it, I'm doing it. If I don't feel like doing it for whatever reason, I'm not going to push myself, because I don't think that is a healthy attitude towards content making. So that's and I always try to be honest about that kind of stuff. So I really wish I did more, but what I'm doing, I always try to do the best work I can. So blend in a little bit of this highlight there. Yeah, that looks awesome. One more panel done. And this just needs to dry, to fully dry. Hopefully tomorrow it will be done. You upload whatever you like. I'm just happy you upload. Thank you very much. I gotta start collecting Space Marines, and I want to paint as your World Bearers heavy contrast video. Nice idea. I would probably now do things a bit differently with the World Bearers. So I would probably, maybe, I'm just thinking what I would do differently. Probably start with a darker primer. I think I'd use grays here. I would probably start with Mechanicus and then do the Flesh Tears red. This is maybe it wasn't the greatest idea to. I need something stronger here. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted. When you leave the oil paint to dry a little bit, it makes it harder to blend. So you need like a bit more force to make that happen. So you need to have that in mind. I'm just going to clean that up. Don't want that much there. There you go. Much better. Yeah, the bees are always super chill. Thank you very much. I try them to be chill. I don't like. Okay, I get that some people just have a lot of energy, and I really appreciate that. I have nothing against that, but I kind of like a chiller kind of vibe. I don't align myself too well with that YouTuber kind of thing. Like, hey, yeah, super energetic. That's not for me. I'm too old for that shit. It may sound like a cliche, but I'm just too old for that shit. I'm almost 40. I just feel too old to do all that crap. As well as putting like ridiculous thumbnails with my face doing stupid things. I just don't like that. I feel like I'm too old to do that. Probably am too old to do that shit. And I don't care. Honestly, don't care. Trying to create some streakiness. There you go, I like that. I'm blending the red a bit more. I'm going to remove some of the darker shade here. It's a bit too much. One more red showing through from the base coat. So yeah, I try to apply that chill vibe to everything I do, and to my... It's kind of my... The way I look at life is just chill. I don't like, you know, you just go to the internet. Everyone has an opinion on everything, and it's mostly shit. But they are so... Everyone's strongly opinionated about everything, and just don't give a shit. I just want to live as chill as possible and not worry too much about anything. There you go, I'm liking that. Let it sit for a while. Howell says, well, there are very few people I would rather watch paint dry with mate. For anyone who didn't see the recent speed paint stream, it was great. Yeah, I did a test. This is going to appear in the next proper video, not a live stream, where I tested different ratios and different drying times. It's just putting what we found there, which was awesome, into a format that more people will watch. That video is already recorded. I need to do the two camera bits, like this is what I speak to the camera. I didn't because I already had the camera set up for me for the live stream, so I didn't want to mess up. Also tomorrow we will do the review. So tomorrow about the same time this video started today, I will be making the review, which I'm always psyched about the review. It's always so much fun to do. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that. Let's wait for that to dry for a little bit so it's not so spirity, and we will blend that into the rest. But yeah, look at that. I think it looks good, especially the white. I'm really pleased with the white. That is a nice, easy way to do white. Really impressed that I could. Oh, and now that I'm just talking about that, let me just grab the pure white and pick up these rivets here. I'm just going thick now because that's what you want. Oops, that's a bit of a fuck up, but easily fixable. Let me just grab this warm red, pure warm red, and do the same on the red rivets. Go. So happy. Deidra Rooney. I struggle with white for my white scar. I think it might be too picky. Probably. I don't mean that in a bad way. We are usually our worst judges of our work. For me, it's way easier to do what I did here, like a dirty white, than it is to do a clean white. Clean whites are hard. Dirty white, super easy. The problem is probably for white scars, you kind of want a cleaner looking white. You can watch my video. Works really well. I will probably change now Apothecary White for Soul Blight Grey. So if you're going to follow my video, have that in mind. That I will, if you ask me now, I will probably change. Is this clean? No, this has purple in it. That's a bad thing. I will for surely change the two paints. I will do Soul Blight Grey instead of Apothecary White, but that's basically it. The rest I stand by what I did. Just blending it. I wasn't happy with that bit. Sometimes with oils, I found if you let them dry for a bit and come back, they just behave differently. So you can do other stuff, like refining things. So pretty happy with that. So this leg is now done. I'm not going to cut it because I want to paint the freehand. It's going to be a sword on this side and a fleur-de-lis on this other side. Then I will add some color modulation with the dot technique, which I really like. And once the dot modulation is done, I will add some weathering, probably. Maybe not, maybe I will. This is pretty weathered, so I will just... this all will be black, so that's easy. The fleur-de-lis is going to be white, and I want to shade it as this, so I would probably shade the fleur-de-lis on top of the red, but once the red is dry. I maybe varnish this with some matte varnish, and then do all of that, probably. We will see. We will see. I will look it up and give Soul Black Grey a try. Thanks, happy to help. If you find Soul Black Grey it's a bit too grey, what you can do is, let me just see if I can make sense of the words in my head, is thin it down with a little bit of contrast medium. If you want it a bit more subtle, but I would highly recommend you do all the recess shading I did. It just helps bring up all the panels better. It just reads, the mini has better readability, and I think that is important sometimes. Okay, let me just add some streaks, some bits here on the... Go. Yeah, happy with that a little bit. Okay, so this and this are basically done. I need them to fully dry so I can maybe add a bit of chipping and stuff like that, but that I will do on top of the red. As for this, oh, this is now a bit more dry, so we can work on it. Okay. So blendy, 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 and the transitions are, they just happen. It's so good. You don't have any idea how annoying it is for YouTube to be, YouTube prompts me like every 10 minutes if I want to insert an ad into my live stream. No, I don't want to insert an ad into my live stream. Thank you very much, YouTube. So we were talking about the Rings of Power. That was awesome. Did you watch? Well, my favorite series of the year by far has been Sandman. Sandman was so good, so close to the source material as well, which I thought it would be impossible to do, but they pulled it off. They honestly pulled it off. I know Neil Gaiman. It's extremely hardcore on that kind of thing, so that his creation comes to life as close to the real thing as possible, and it was really good. Have you watched Sandman? Any of you? Someone out there? Have you read the comics? By the way, you know, a fun fact, you know my Curse City videos, the book that I use on the intros for the monk, that is the tome 1 of the Sandman comics. it's an out of print edition. I only have the 2 first volumes of that edition, but it's perfect. That book is so good. Not only because the content is amazing, but just because it's such a fun book to use. It's just a good prop on top of being a good book. Not yet. Was watching Devil in Ohio with Mrs. But we'll check it out. Not RP, as I am a Tolkien nerd. I am a Tolkien nerd, and I thought it was good. I think the main issue is managing your expectations. You know you're going to watch an adaptation, and you know it will have to be adapted so it makes sense for the screen and all that stuff. So you can't really go in like, no, I know I'm not going to like it. It's just what it is. So I'm going to use a bit of shadow brown to add the weathering on the red, because I didn't like how the other colors looked. I need a brown. I think this will work. I'm just going to thin this down and try to add some streakies. How do you make washes look so smooth and curved surfaces? I'm having trouble with my Eldar. These are oils. These are oil paints. Yeah, as you can see, everything started like this before the live stream, and this was done just in however time we have been having. Super quick. It's 1 hour 43 minutes. And I did a bit more on the skeleton, so you can see that at the beginning. But this is all oil work. That's why it's still fresh. I can still go back and change it and modify it a little bit if I wanted. But yeah, that's how you make that's how you make washes look good on curved surfaces. You use oil paints. Is this fully dry? Not sure. I'm going to use this fully dry. No, this is not fully dry. Okay, let me just grab this brush then. There you go. Just making some streaky streaks. Yeah, I like the brown more for the streaks. Yeah, so much more. It's just nicer. I'm going to blend it a little bit more. I don't like that strong. I need to be careful, especially around the red details. The brighter red. Oh, Observer 0620 Dash has made a donation of $10. Hey Juan, thanks for the content. Your heavy contrast videos have much improved my painting, specifically the glaze highlighting. Cheers. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. You are a trooper. Thank you for your donation. It really means a lot to me. It really makes my life easier, and it really provides for my family. So I really appreciate it. Everyone that it's a patron or channel member will have my eternal gratitude. And anyone that makes a donation on these streams, of course, obviously. So let me just grab a little bit more of the red. There you go, I like that more. It was a bit too much. We can always correct it back. That's the magic of oil paints. We you can go back and do and retouch indefinitely. But yeah, this is working for me, if you ask me. A bit more red here, so I can make the streaks a little thinner. Oh, in fact, I'm looking into that. I'm scared to use oil washes. Don't be. Watch the first part of this video, and you will see how I shaded this entire skeleton, and it looks amazing. Really happy with it. I applied at the beginning of this video a little bit more of the oil washing for different hues on the neck. I also showed how you can do the smoke effect on the shafts. That was the beginning, and the grease effect on the pistons. That was all done with oils at the beginning of the video. Then I jumped into the panels, which you can see here. And honestly, I've been having so much fun painting this that I will probably continue doing this off camera as well during the week. Okay. Oils are amazing. It's just such a great tool to use and learn how to take advantage of. They are just amazing. Okay, a little bit of the brighter red. Maybe I should add lighter streaks on the red. Maybe that would have worked better than these darker ones, but I kind of like this darker look myself. Don't know, maybe. Just reinforcing the shading around the cross there. Oh, Drader Rooney. Okay, I will go and craft to the craft store and buy some. I'm assuming black is a good start. So for the oils, you need to understand there are different qualities of oils. The very cheapest oils are going to have the pigment that is very thick. I know you can make washes with them, and it's probably going to be okay, but my recommendation is you go and buy these are very entry level, very accessible, these Aptilum 502s. These are designed to be used on models, and they work really well on models. You're going to be missing some stuff, then you can jump. But this is, to be fair, and may sound a bit elitist, but this is the lowest I recommend you going. These are good oil paints. This is like kind of a student grade from Winsor & Newton, something like this. So this is the oil paints from Winsor & Newton. This is the artist grade. This is the highest spec of oil paint that you can buy from Winsor & Newton. These are a bit expensive, especially but you get so much paint, you're probably never going to use them in your entire life painting models. So it's a bit of a waste, and a bit it is a lot. So not everyone can afford them, and not anyone can justify them. These are enough. They come in smaller tubes, and the quality is good enough. You don't need any more than this, and they are good. Honestly, they are good paints. The student grade can, the lowest grade, like the craft store grade oil paints, can create some issues. I've seen people saying, why don't my oil paints work the way I see them? Why I can't get a good result? And with my washes, just leaving weird stuff, weird artifacts, that can happen. So just have that in mind, that it can happen. Question by Run. Question: I am planning on oil washing a metallic purple Trader Space Marine. What color should I use to pin and wash them? I have paint gray, lamp black, burnt amber, ultramarine, and violet. Soran. Okay, Soran. Sorry about that. Sorry if I butcher any of your names, by the way. I just don't care that much. So, what I would do if it is a purple metallic to just remain, I would probably just go with black. I would, because purple metallic you can mix black and violet. That can look pretty cool. If your violet doesn't have, it's like a doesn't have too much. If your violet doesn't have white in it, it's like a pure violet. Violet with black would be my go-to for sure, just to complement that metallic hue. And if you can, I would just probably just use black. Yeah, that would be my go-to. Yeah, if you want to add sort of a different look, you can mix a magenta with a black. That can work as well. Or look for a very dark, or if you don't mind buying more, look for a very dark purple that is darker than your metallic. That can also work very well. Or a very dark magenta or very dark violet that comes on the tube like that. That is very saturated. But it's with oils, it's really hard to know which one to use. That's also a thing. Okay, let me just blend this more. I'm not happy with the blending there. There you go. Nice. Sorted. So this, these two panels are mostly done. I'm going to do one last thing. I'm going to take this smoke. I think it did smoke. Yeah, I think it did smoke. I'm going to mix it with my matte effect thinner. And I'm going to just try and make... I'm going to mix it with this color here. There you go. That was the raw sienna from Winsor & Newton. I'm just going to do the thinnest recess shade around the trim. Like super thin. There you go. I like that. There you go. That will give us a bit more separation from the metallics later on. But yeah, I consider this two to be basically done. This one as well. An excuse to buy more paint is always welcome. Sorry, but my knowledge on oil paints is not that big, of the pigments and stuff like that. So I can't tell you go and buy this pigment. I can't because I don't know them. I have a friend that does know them very well, but he's not here to help you. Sadly. I'm thinking what I'm going to do. I will have to think if I want to add like some buff streaks onto the red specifically. But if I do that, I may do that with the I might do that with the... What I was going to say, my brain just farted. With the freehand added and everything done. Soran, tell me about it, the amount of minis I see Juan paint, then I buy to try to paint, are now in my pile of shame. You should paint them. Paint makes minis happy. Paint your minis. That's how you make your minis happy, is painting them. So I'm going to paint the other white panel. So going back to the white, again I'm just going to go into my matte effect thinner. If you don't know what that is, this is basically odorless thinner with some talcum powder in it, I think. So I'm going back to that and mixing it with my raw sienna from Winsor & Newton to create a lighter, like a better flowing paint. And just going to slop it this onto the underside, a lot onto the side because I want the sides to be a bit more shaded. And onto the top I'm going to be very careful and just apply the minimum around the trim and stuff like that. Yeah, that's going to look good. And again, being heavier around the bottom and around the sides, like that. And if you missed the first part of this video, I hope this finds you find this interesting. You will have to leave this to dry for a bit, but not that much. You probably should leave this to dry for a bit more, but I'm impatient, very impatient. And with oils, you can always take it off, so it's not that such a big deal. Like with acrylics, if you go too heavy with acrylics, you're in a bad situation. If you go too heavy with oils, you can just take it off, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay. Yeah, this is purple. I think this will work fine for us. Okay, I'm going to apply a bit more of the raw sienna on the bottom here. I took away a bit too much. What do I want to do now in terms of blendy? So I'm going to try to blend this as best as possible. Wiping the brush, blend a bit more. You may think this is going too far into the ochre, and I would agree with you, but you can always take a brush with spirits and take it off. It's a valid it's a valid technique, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it off, wait for the spirits to evaporate a little bit, and then blend it again. So leave this to dry for a little bit extra. Will you paint the Brittonian Knight? Did I miss it? No, this is the Brittonian Knight. It's a knight that I'm going to paint in the same colors as my Brittonian general from back then. So it's a Brittonian Knight. It's technically correct, and that's the best form of correct. Also, it's a massive shadow of a knight in the thumbnail. That's why I'm painting the knight. Hello, Dennis. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you here again. For another day, another chat, and a bit more knight painting. So the idea, which I thought it was fun, is I used to have a Brittonian army during the fantasy era. I think I played fourth. Fourth, I didn't play Brittonian during fourth. I was playing Littleman. I played Brittonian in 5th and 6th. That was it. Yeah, 5th and 6th editions. And I had a very prolific. I loved my Brittonian army. I loved it with a passion. So what I want to do is a kind of an homage to that. Just clean this very well. And I thought it would be fun to just paint a knight, Imperial Knight, as if it were a Brittonian Knight. Soran, Dennis, Soran, the pigments in oils are highly toxic. Do not leak your brush or you will have that avid, and keep your painting environment well ventilated. Yeah, that's what you should do. Not all the pigments are toxic, by the way. Siennas and burnt ambers and that is highly okay. If you're using stuff like reds, and some greens and blues are also quite a bit toxic. But for the most part, you're going to be fine. Not everyone has the money to intoxicate themselves with cadmium. It's quite an expensive habit, that. You will be dead and poor at the same time. A my old painting instructor in college got Parkinson's disease from exposure over the years, and health problems associated with oil paints were common amongst famous oil painters. Yes, oils are nasty. Nasty things. You should be careful around them and careful when you use them, but very you can just prevent any issues very well. Also, we're not going to use them like in the same scale as they would be using them. So, yeah. But don't listen to me very well. I don't know anything of what I'm saying. I don't have any idea what I'm saying really. Okay, that part is almost done. Really happy with that. Really happy. I'm just going to blend away a little bit more at the bottom. Add a bit more stippling. I love filbert brushes for oil blending. Just provide there's such a good shape for oil blending. Okay, let's do some more Risha shading. Going back into the matte effects. Thinning this into more of a wash consistency. I'm going to add a bit of the smoke now. I think we can get away with that. And slowly and carefully going around the edge, adding this paint there, creating a bit more separation. Certainly, it's not, Danny says, certainly it's not like you're painting on a giant canvas or a fresco. If your room is ventilated, you should not have to worry about using them, especially for something like a small mini, yeah. Also, that is on the, speaking about that, it's very important. We mostly use odorless thinners to thin oils. Odorless, that just means they are odorless. Doesn't mean they don't produce any gases. So even if you're using odorless thinners, use them in a well ventilated room, please, because you can get, you can get into issues because you are still breathing the gases of the odorless thinners. It doesn't smell, but they are there. It's always good to have a good understanding of security, of safety on your working environment, and we can consider this our working environment essentially. So be safe when you paint with your oils. We don't want any of you, I personally don't want any of you getting ill just from painting. It's not nice. Okay, let me see if I can find a brush that is not contaminated with anything other than this has red in it. So as I said before, a good idea would be to just use a brush for do the white first and then do the rest. So doing the streaks now, and I'm going to clean them to refine them with some spirits. Sometimes you want spirits in your brush, sometimes you don't want spirits in your brush, and knowing where to use each, well, makes a difference. But yeah, You can see very realistic streaks. I hope you can see them well. So you can zoom in. There you go. Pretty nice. I prefer you to show you everything that I'm doing, so you understand the whole picture. Let me just. I'm using some spirits now to clean a bit more of the white, so we have like a kind of highlight there. Okay, I think that looks awesome. Let me just grab some of the white, pure white, and I kind of want to do a highlight here. So I'm going to add some pure white oil paint around there. Just a tiny bit. And I'm going to blend it. Oh, Graham, does it not ruin the paint job on parts where clipping from the sprue need retouch-ups? Yeah, but I'm not going to paint the only parts there are the trim, and I'm not going to paint the trim now. I'm going to paint the trim after I glue them onto the model, onto the rest of the model, so it doesn't really affect me. Yeah, super happy with that. That looks awesome. I'm using the white to basically refine and add some highlighting in parts that might be lost due to the weathering and shading. I'm just going with pure white acrylic paint, oil paint. I'm probably going. I don't really like this white, this snow white from Abteilung. I'm probably going to buy a good, high quality. I will probably buy a good high quality titanium white from Winsor & Newton when I get back to the art shop. Along with nice bright red, which I'm missing. I kind of like that. I think that is awesome. I think that looks pretty good, if you ask me. I don't know what you think, but I think that looks pretty good. So yeah, pretty stoked. Then there was a pretty good session with the white there. Let me clean that brush, the application brush. I'm going to make a sort of a wash with this, and I don't know which one this is, but I'm going to make sort of a wash there. Oh no, that's too dark. It's way too dark. No, that's way too dark. Don't like that. Maybe this. Oh, let me clean that up. Dennis, that looks really good, Juan. All it needs now gold leaves fleur de lis. Have you ever tried using gold leaf on the Mini? No, I've actually never used gold leaf. Full stop. I've never ever used gold leaf ever. So I don't know how that would go, and I don't want to risk it in the Mini. I would just paint them gold with normal paints. I would probably use oils to shade them though, because I think it's cool and it's easy. I hate shading metallic, so I might try using oils to shade them once they are essentially done. But I will have to base coat them with acrylics, sadly. Are there any good oil paint, gold oil paints? I don't know. That's an honest question for all the oil paint aficionados in the chat. I don't know if there are many of you, but if you are, can you answer that, please? I would love to know if there are like good ones that look really good. For what I've seen from restoration videos and stuff like that, what most artists do, at least the restoration guys, is mix their own golds using mica powder and different paints. So I'm not sure if there will be a good one. I'm really happy with that. So happy. I think I will finish this sprue and then do the rest off camera. 2 hours 30 minutes. So happy. If you're new to the chat, we're painting a knight with the colors of my Brittonian general from 5th edition army. What was usually done with gold leaf, otherwise it was no metallic. Yeah, I know, but I've known in some paintings they use gold, and it wasn't gold leaf originally. It was gold paint mixed with mica powder. That's the only thing I've seen in like kind of religious figures, like religious imaginary. Sometimes they use gold paint instead of just not use it, and sometimes they don't use gold leaf for that. They just use straight up gold oil paint. And I'm just curious about if you know, because they actually sell Winsor & Newton sells gold oil paint, but I've never used it, and I don't want to spend that much money, like probably 15, minimum 10 euros probably, probably 15 euros on a tube of paint, and then not like it. So let's do this other. Let's finish this sprue. I think it would be a good idea to finish this sprue and then move on basically to other stuff. I'm still in doubt if I should do the weathering, the streaking on the red with lighter colors instead of darker colors. Probably I should. It's just on the back of my mind all the time. It's probably you should use lighter colors, like a buff, to do the streaking instead of dark. Maybe. What about Vallejo liquid gold? I hate that thing. It's really good. It looks amazing once it's done. It looks amazing once it's done, but using that paint is such a pain in the ass. I always feel like I have to follow rituals, that I have to pray to some god of some kind just so that paint comes out good. It's just a pain in the ass. I don't like it. I really honestly don't like it. If you know how to use it and you control it well, it's amazing, but it's such a pain in the ass. Speaking about fast blending, there you go. I'm going to remove some of the purple from the top here, which I don't like. I want this area to be brighter red. I'm just going to use some spirits and just take it off. And then with the smoothing brush, we will smooth it out. Oh, Alex Brandsgrove, 20 quid. Thank you very much. Love watching nights being painted. Thank you, Alex. I really I'm really glad you like it. We are using oils today for everything: highlighting, shading, weathering, all oils over acrylics, of course. I'm really happy with the results. Honestly, I never liked painting large models, but to be fair, using oils is just so nice. Makes the process so nice. And again, thank you very much. It really makes a difference. It really, really, really helps a lot. More than what you would imagine. My family, right now at this point in time, I do have a business, as you may know, but thanks to the YouTube channel, during the rough times, my family had always something to eat. They've never missed anything. I could always buy clothes and whatever they needed. We never missed anything. And that is thanks to the YouTube channel during these very, very rough times. And now that the business is, I don't think it's ever going to be like in the best days. It really makes a big difference. It's still making a big difference even today. So thank you very much to everyone that is a member, that is a Patreon, and that donates during the live streams. Winsor & Newton does make a range of metallic oils, but I've never used them. Yeah, it's the same. I know they make them, but I've never used them. So I don't know. Are they good? I don't know. Are they crap? I don't know. That's the mystery. That's the big mystery. I don't know. And I don't want, they're too expensive for me to go and buy a tube. That's the main issue, isn't it? They're just too expensive. Over server, I know how we feel about green stuff wall around here, but the pure metal pigments look nice. You know what? I have them. Sometimes I'm a bit of a hypocrite, whatever you pronounce that in English. I do have their metallic pigments, and yes, they're very good. So probably mixing those with some oil medium, some linseed oil, you could probably get the very good metallics in oils. But I don't know. I have them. I tried to use them. Yes, they work very well. Also, they are such a pain in the ass. So, The issue with Green Stuff Wall is, yes, they are an awful company, but sometimes they are the only ones that make whatever you need. Sometimes they are the only ones doing it. And that sucks. But it's the truth. I need some clean spirits, because I think my spirits being a bit dirty are causing me some issues. So I'm going to have some clean spirits here. I want this to be cleaner, brighter red. I'm going to highlight it later on, but still I would like that to be a bit of a brighter red to begin with. So I'm taking away most of the paint on top. Oh, by the way, I don't know how many of you are from Spain, or how many of you are going to be in Spain the next week, but I will be in Madrid for the Freak Wars convention. I guess it's a convention. I will be there, and I will be in the stand of Vallejo. They are paying me to go there with them. For what? Well, you have to wait and see. It's going to be good. I'm just saying, if you are there, go. It's going to be amazing. But I think most of you would have enough brain power to deduce why Vallejo are getting me and paying me to be there with them. And know that even if you are correct, I'm not going to answer because I can't. But I'm saying that I will be there. I'm there with Vallejo. And I will be making demos and painting there in their stand. And answering questions and whatever they want me to do, because they are paying me, so they can ask me to do whatever they want. Diego is like, I'm living in Malaga since a few years, but I have a trip planned for Madrid. Maybe I will go and say hi. Yeah, go to the Freak Wars and say hi. It would be awesome to meet you. Ascalonis, hey Juan, I'm currently painting some square lenses. I'm using Macrack Blue, Caldo Sky, and Calgar Blue. Do you think this triad works? No, I don't think it works. I think you should go for the teals. Always, if you want a punch, and if you're painting lenses you want a punch, you want to go for the teals. Caldo Sky is good as a base, and then you want to highlight it using things like Tempercard Blue and Baharov Blue and white, and shade it using an intense blue. Macrack is too desaturated. I will probably go with honestly, if I'm doing it, I will use Leviathan Blue contrast paint to shade it, like very thin. But you can use something like Night Lord's Blue or something like that, or just mix black into your Caldo Sky. Macrack is too desaturated. Thank you for your question, by the way. I love answering questions. This is as much of a painting as it is a Q&A. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Okay. Let me grab... Oh, have this open. When it's closed. Happy to help, Oscalo. Or Scayo. Depending if you're Spanish or not. Fidel says, new paints. I don't know. You will have to go there and see. And get more clean matte effect of thinners. I'm going to thin a bit of this warm red, which is like a very dark orange. A bit bricky for my taste. I would have liked something a bit more saturated, but you know, what are you going to do? And you have something there. This. Okay, one of the lottery numbers for the next week. Yeah. It's very exciting. Very, very exciting. We've been, I don't want to speak in like in first person here, because it's not just me. We've been working on this for about, well, including me. I joined halfway through the process, and they've been working for a long time, and I've been working for about a year on that. So very exciting news to finally be able to go there and do my stuff. Pathrip, watch your recent video on the Sons of Horus. Boy, did make painting Sons of Horus fun. yeah, console photos are really fun to paint. But of course, if you're following the heavy metal guide, it's very, very labor intensive, obviously. Because those are mad lads. They really are. They paint full units like that. It's crazy. Absolutely nuts. But that's why they are the heavy metal team. Gabriel, I got myself some augmented glasses after one of your last streams. Do you have them on all the time, or just when painting details? Just when painting details. Right now they are here. I don't need them to do this kind of stuff. They are there on there. For this kind of rough work, I can do without them. If I'm painting something serious, like for example, let's just say competition level stuff or stuff like that, I'm going to do more highlights here, by the way. One red, just stippling and just put in this brush there, clean it and stippling a little bit on this thick paint so I can create highlights easier. It's just like that. That's one of the risks when you're painting with oils, that you kind of have the feeling you're never done. There's always some more corrections left to go. Oh, volume 10. I still think that you curse city skeletons are one of my favorites of all time models. Thank you very much. I love painting the skeletons, so good. I'm going to paint the expansions for the Cursed City were announced. No minis, but no minis included in the expansion. Better for me. I don't want the expansion. I don't play the game, but I might jump straight into the expansion models because I wasn't motivated to paint Radukar, the version on the game. But Radukar the Beast, well, that looks awesome. So why not painting Radukar the Beast for the Cursed City videos, since he's now officially a Cursed City model? Don't you think that would be awesome? Because I think that would be awesome. Perfect opportunity, yeah. It's a perfect chance to get Cursed City content going. So we need a bit of blending there. It was a line that I didn't like, kind of a coffee staining. Probably from the thinners used to clean our surface. Look at that! I painted 4 copies of Cursed City, 3 for charity. That's awesome! Honestly, I want to say this because I think it's very important. The people that paint for charity, you do an amazing job. And it's so much work. I honestly don't know how you pull up with I don't know how you do it. I honestly don't know how you do it. It's so much work, and you just go and do it. You are amazing. So thank you for all your charity work. Highly appreciate it. I'm sure the people that benefited from your work also appreciate it. Yeah, you are awesome. Oh my god. What the fuck? Barbecue. Yes, please. I absolutely love videos on Cursed City. I will do more videos on Cursed City. I really got the itch for Cursed City going recently, so I will be doing more Cursed City stuff. Look at that. We've done this whole sprue. I'm really happy with this. As I said, I will be doing some more streaking on the red parts. I think I will use some kind of light color, some kind of dusty color. Yeah, probably 100%. I will do that. But I will probably wait till it's time to do till I paint the freehands, so they are more integrated onto there. Okay, just redid the edge, so it's nice and thin, and you can see how we did all of this, looking pretty awesome. Nice gradients, no time at all. Super happy with this. I've been looking so much to do this. This is going to look amazing. Okay, So we have done with this sprue. You have seen me do the white and you have seen me do the red. Why don't we move into something a bit more somber and we do the blue? Because as I told you, one of the shoulder pads is going to be with the livery of the King of Brittonian. So it's going to be blue and red. This blue is one of the Army Painter airbrush blues. Don't know which one, I can't remember. One of them, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And we're going to shade, and for this I'm going to mix some midnight blue with some pure black. What is my black? That is my black. I hope you're having a fun time with the stream, by the way, guys. I try to do my best to be entertaining. So a bit of black, a bit of midnight blue, there you go. I'm going to mixy those colors together. I'm having a blast, thank you very much. Bolimte, thank you very much, I really appreciate it. Okay, we have a very dark color now. I'm going to mix this of the dirty. And then going to apply the shading as we did. You want to thin, you don't want to apply always without thinning them. Oh yeah, look at that intense as fuck dark blue. Yeah, I'm liking that. And I'm going to highlight this using Gundam blue, or maybe intense blue, I don't know yet. Let's see if using oil paints makes blue painting better. I'm guessing it will be. Okay, there you go. Dark blue applied. I want to put my other blues on the palette to see which one I like better. Or just at least open them. This is a bit desaturated blue, probably closer to the color of the Brittonian King. And this is a bit on the teal spectrum. Let me just put this down. Oh, so much oil. There you go. Oh, maybe not that much teal. I think it's just the oil sitting on top that's making it look teal. I think I'm going to mix both, actually. I think I'm going to mix both. You can't see them, sorry. Let me move that closer. It's been great watching and listening while I do some painting. I like the pace of the stream too, thank you very much. Can you see? Yeah, you can see the blues now. So, let me grab a brush and blend these together onto the base blue. This is one of the blues from the Army Painter airbrush range, which I've seen it. I've said this before. Army Painter normal paints, Army Painter airbrush paints, they are very good. Like, very good. Probably, as a whole, the best airbrush range of any brand of paint. And I just said that, and I stand by that. Look at that, instant blending. Bolimte, if you had to choose between acrylic and oil paints, what would you choose and why? I'm wanting to hear your thoughts as I'm considering getting oil paints. I mean, the answer is both. And I know that was not your question. You cannot do oils with having some acrylic base, at least not for our kind of work, because you want the oils to be super thin so they mix better, so they are not as painful to have them dry. So And also you can I'm going to say it, doing acrylic touch-ups over the oils is also good. But you can do full oils and you can do full acrylics, but the most powerful one is obviously mixing both. So, but if I had to choose one to use ever, I would use acrylics just because I like to use them. But oils are a completely different experience. And if you use oils, you will understand what I'm talking about the different experience. It's just a different feeling when you're using them. They feel laid back, you feel relaxed because you know whatever you do, you can fix it. So that's always a nice feeling, isn't it? So applying this lighter blue here. And I'm going to try to blend it. I'm not going to try. I think I'm going to blend it. But we will see. We will see. It will probably need a couple of passes of this light blue to get everything blended together nicely. So a nice filbert brush, light touches, and essentially we are almost there. I need to smooth that out a little bit. Get a very, very soft brush, like a very soft brush. Let me see. Oh, I have a very soft, large brush here. So just touching over the surface makes it more uniform looking instead of a bit streaky. There you go. Not bad. Now back into the blending. Whoops. Oops. That's not nice. Be sure that your oils are completely dry and apply a varnish over them before painting acrylics on top of them. Oil is hydrophobic and will cause your acrylics to crack if you don't seal them first. Nice, good advice. That's a good advice. Okay. This is much better than watching reruns of Bob Ross. Thank you very much. Oh, this is full of red. I don't want to use that. What are you full of? A bit of purple, that's okay. So I'm going to do some stippling to lighten this color a little bit. Just over everything. I want a lighter blue. And I realized that it may have gone into the darker blue spectrum. Maybe a bit darker than what I wanted. So I'm just going to stipple this and then smooth it. And maybe we can smooth it while stippling. Also, if you add a bit of a variation, a little bit of texture, that's not bad. That's just going to make it look more realistic. Give it a bit more of a scale feel. It's going to make your minis look larger, essentially. Okay, so the blue there, a bit stippling. Clean the brush. Great voice and perfect music, thank you very much. Thankfully, I have a deep voice, so that's also pleasant to listen to. Okay, happy with that, pretty happy with that. I think it's a bit too dark on the shadow area, so what I'm going to do, we have some of this midnight blue here. So I'm going to thin down with, yeah, this is a good color, which I'm going to thin down with the matte effect medium. Trying to apply it over these shadow areas to see if we can take away some of this super dark black. Maybe it was a bit too much. Maybe it was a bit too much. Or let me just see if I can remove it with my soft brush. And turn this back into a lighter color. Oh yeah, so much better. I'm liking this a lot more. Yeah. Take some of this lighter color. I think that looks good. Maybe I'm not a partial judge since I just did it, but I think it looks good. Why are you painting this still on the sprue? Yes, because I'm only painting the armor panels, the solid colors. I'm not painting the trim, so I will finish all the colors, all the panels. I will probably cut it off the sprue. Let's make this. I will cut it off the sprue, then retouch everything, and then just paint the trim. Easy, simple as that. I'm going to mix different blue. I wasn't liking that super bright blue, so I'm going to mix some of this with the midnight blue. This. It's just easier to manipulate this way. Just like this. Just a little bit of this blue. Thin it down with the medium. Blending the top a little bit, just a gentle touch, and now we'll try and blend this together. Okay, I think it looks good for blue. Volunteer, how often do you do these live streams? It's 1 AM Western Australia. You're on Aussie. I didn't used to do them, but since I have the new baby, I can't really put as much content out, but this is easy to make. I can spare 2-3 hours on a day. It's probably going to cost me a price, but I'm okay with that, since it brings food to the table. We're okay with it. It's just part of my job. So I can spend this 2-3 hours and don't have to edit anything. So that's convenient. And I can spend the night with my wife, which she appreciates. And I appreciate it too, so, you know. So I'm planning on doing more live streams now until you know, everything gets, all the rough edges are smoothed out, so to speak. Want a bit more blue overall. Oh, and it's 3 AM in Eastern Australia. So we have another Aussie. Be careful with the drop bears. By the way, you always have to be careful with those things. Stay safe. Nasty things. I think I'm probably going to smooth this last time. Leave this to dry for a bit. It's a bit too wet now for me to work on it safely. And I will add more highlights on top of this. It's hard. It's getting a bit difficult to highlight. Okay, I am happy with that. Happy, happy, happy. I may add a bit more later on, but for now, it's going to add a bit more of this on the bottom to essentially lighten up this area. Yeah. At this point, I can say good afternoon from Texas. Good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. I would really love to visit the US at some point, and Australia as well. But it's so expensive, man. Coming from Europe is so expensive. Why did you buy those scale color paint tubes? This is because of the amount that came in them. This is not scale colors. These are Aptilung oils. Aptilung 502 oil paints. And oil paints come in tubes. Also, not related to the paints that I'm using, but just so you know, the scale color artist paints, the ones that come in the tubes, really good. They are fantastically good paints. Okay, let me clean this brush. I think I'm done with the big smooshing brush now. I'm going to clean this up. I think I'm going to clean this up and let it dry for a bit. And I want to grab a smaller smooshing brush. Just a second, please. Yeah, that's it. Let me grab one of the scale colors and you can see it. There you go. These are the scale color artist paints, acrylic smooth paints. And they are amazing. Like, honestly, really, really good. Basically like heavy body acrylics, but in smaller size, which is always nice. Did you see the Squidmas videos comparing paint brands? I didn't. I mean, I understand what he did, but it's very sub. The problem is, it's subjective. So there's always going to be a subjective component. For example, I love Citadel paints. I think they are the best ones. If I have to choose one paint to use, I will always go to Citadel. Unless Citadel don't have the color that I need, for example. All those people like whatever. I mean, it's very subjective, and each person is going to be different. So it's a bit pointless. I get what he tried to do, but it's a bit pointless. I use Golden Heavy Body Acrylics. Fantastic. Golden is a great brand of artist paints. If anything is artist paint or comes from a brand, from an artist brand, it's going to be good. it's going to be good. I think I'm happy with this, but I kind of want a bit more highlighting, and it's not as smooth as I would want it to be. Let me see if I can add a bit more highlighting. Mixing a little bit more of the Gundam blue into the other blue. I will probably buy more Citadel if they're wearing dropper bottles. I don't care. I transfer them into droppers. Problem solved. that's what I do. Also, I understand what they are doing pots. I know people like to be very vocal about those things. I'm going to smooth this out with this sponge. I think I was not happy with the blue. I think I'm trying to convince myself that I'm happy with the blue, but I'm not happy with the blue. So I'm going to sponge it out a bit, remove some of this lighter blue, and get a smoother everything so I can work in better on top. Okay, let's start over with this. And also, the pots do have their explanation and their use. I mean, they are designed for newcomers to be as friendly to them as possible. And some people love them. The problem is the people that love the pots are not vocal on the internet. So you don't listen to them. You only listen to the people that hate the pots. I personally don't like the pots, but I love the paint, so I just buy it and transfer them and move on. I did it all at once, and that's it. That's what I did. Now I'm happy. Yeah, that is a good point. How can you be happy with anything that is blue? Yeah, that is a good point. Oh, Darkabal, good afternoon, Juan. Really enjoying the night streams. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Another of my lovely, lovely patrons. Thank you for showing up, mate. I really appreciate it. So let's smooth this out. I think this is clean and dry. Poor old Raphael brush. It had its glory days. Now it's an oil brush. Because it's pretty clean and it's very soft. Okay, this is looking better. I think I want to leave this to dry. I keep saying that and I keep touching it, so this doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm very impatient. I think I'm going to leave this there for a bit. James Sherman, when you transfer your paint to dropper bottles, did you add any thinner? And if so, what type and what ratio? No ratios. Each paint is different. I added distilled water. That's all you need. And I added as much distilled water as I needed for the paint to flow nicely. That's all. You want the paints to flow nicely from the bottle, from the pot to the dropper. As long as you can make the paint flow without, without getting chunks or anything, it just has to flow constantly and smoothly. That's as much as you need. That's it. And I know this is not the best explanation in the world, but that's the explanation that is true. And don't use any funnels. That's a waste. Just tip it. Okay, this is almost dry now. It looks dry. It looks awesome. Really, really happy with this. Happy to help, James. More than happy to help. We need to leave this to dry. So I'm going to shade this red bit here on the meantime. Just so I'm not bored. Again, this is a mix of midnight blue. It has a little bit of the, what was it? I think magenta and black. Let me just clean this blue. We had some blue spillage on the red bit. We don't want that. So we're just going to use some spirits to clean that off. What scale color paints would you recommend for a person like me to get into the scale color paint? I don't like... You're not asking the right person, because I don't like scale colors. I don't like the model color. The scale color? Wait a second. So, this stuff I don't like very much. Not really. They're not bad. I mean, I can use them, I can work with them. They're just acrylic, but I don't like the medium. I don't like the gel medium. I get its advantages, but I don't like it. As far as this goes, I like this better. The Fantasy and Games one, more akin to what a normal person would be used to. So this would be a good intro into scale colors. This, very easy to use. You just need to understand that this is thick AF. This is a paste, so you will have to thin it down, but it's very good. It's fantastic. So I would recommend you get Fantasy and Games and normal, and the art is great, and I would avoid this ones if myself, but you do you. All the metallic, the metal alchemy and the normal metallics are good, by the way. I like them. They have their uses. Okay, so let's blend this a little bit. Yeah, it's gel medium, and I don't like it. It's just something personal. It has nothing to do. I'm sure the paints are all right and everything, but I just don't like the gel medium at all. Again, I can work with it. I can use it. It's just if I can choose what paints I use, I never go for scale 75 for that reason. So if I can't choose, then well, I can't choose. Does it look similar? Yeah, that looks similar to me. Nice. Nice. Okay, happy with that. I'm going to pick some more of this purple color. Oh, greetings from Switzerland. Watching while cooking. Awesome. I lived in Switzerland for a bit, so you know. I love Switzerland a lot. I was working in La Chaux-de-Fonds on near the French border. Awesome place. I loved working on Switzerland. It's just a shame that it just couldn't be. Oh shit. I don't like that. It's lifting off. So I'm speaking with myself now. I just fucked up here. There you go. Okay, let's see if we can blend the blue a little bit better now. I think I will never be happy with the blue, just because, well, it's blue, but I'm going to try. I will probably have to leave this to fully dry and do another layer later on. Oh, this is now full of spirit. I can't use that. Oh, maybe. Okay, wait a bit. I think this is what I need. Soran, I do wish that the Cursed City expansions had the models. They are over $200 from GW. I would like them to get them at a discount. Yeah, but yeah. So basically, you have to understand that the base game was a trap for you to get invested and then sell you the expansions, apparently. Also, I kind of get it, since the expansions... Oh, they're much softer. I like that. See, the expansions are models that a lot of people have. I kind of makes sense, but also doesn't make sense. It's weird. It's weird. For sure, it's weird. These are the Army Painter dry brushes. Very soft hair, so it makes for a nice, like kind of a sponge, but softer, more delicate. So I can blend it better. I think I'm happy with that. I'm not going to make it any better, for sure. So I'm just going to I'm not going to keep on messing with the blue. I'm never going to be happy with it. Okay, let's grab some more of this highlight blue. Place it there on these little places. There you go. And I'm happy. That's enough for the blue side. That is enough for the blue side. You have blue in you. You have blue. I can't use you. And you have red. Okay. Do you ever use makeup brushes for dry brushing? No, because I got sent free stuff, so I don't have to pay for it. So I have all the expensive stuff because I don't have to pay for it again. My favorite ones are the Rosemary & Co. dry brush set, which are an exact match for the Artisopus, but the shaft is black instead of white, and they cost half as much. So buy the Rosemary & Co. ones. I have a link for them in the description. But if you want to buy the more expensive Artisopus version, they are made by the same people. They are made by Rosemary. But if you want to buy the Artisopus, just go to my Element Games link and just buy them through there. And get a nice bonus for your efforts. So thank you very much. Okay, the blue I'm happy with. The red I'm going to finish and move on. This will be the last highlight I'm going to make here. Just because it's a bit late. We are about... Yeah, about 3 hours in on the live stream. That's about as much as I'm willing to do on camera, because otherwise it's just too much. So I'm going to do the red bit. Go. There you go. Cleaning the brush on the paper towel and blending it. So dusty in here, fuck. There you go. I think I will leave it at that. This has to dry. and it's going to take a day probably. It's very thin. It's going to probably take a day, probably a couple days. So I will leave this, and in the meantime I will do the metal on the arms and all that nice stuff that is still left to do, which I still have to do, because you have to paint everything on the model. You cannot just paint the stuff that you like. Okay, let's paint this there. I'm going to finish the top edge, so adding a little bit red there, and more red towards the top edge. Okay, then I'm going to blend it with a teeny tiny brush. Bonham T, would you be painting the new chrome models for one of the heavy contrasts? Doubt it, because I already did one and I stand by that. So I don't like to repeat myself. So all the models, they are just berserkers, and I already painted a berserker. So I kind of don't feel like I want to paint another berserker in the exact same way. Sorry. But you still have that video, and it's a good one. It's one of my favorites. Go watch it. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for being here. I'm going to clean all my brushes now, because I always do with oils, so I have a clean slate to work again. I'm really happy with this. We did a lot of work, especially on the white. The white came out awesome. All the weathering is done on the white. I will still have to do some weathering on the red and the blue. I will probably use something like a buff color, but apart from that, looking quite good. Thank you. Oh, nothing bad happened. Let me just close this. I will keep on painting this off camera. All of these armor panels and this top cover here, and then we will meet again for another session on this night. Maybe next week. At some point next week, we'll meet again and keep on painting this night with a chilled out sessions. That's the idea, at least. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Hey, bye.